All right, hey, what's up? It's Mr. Ippolito.
And Mr. Padilla.
And we're going to go ahead and go over the unit exam manifest destiny 2024 answers. We're going to try to help you to figure out why you got wrong, what you got wrong, why you got wrong, the things you might have gotten wrong, why the responses, why you got the score you got on the written responses. Just try to help explain it to you as much as possible. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Mr. Padilla, there were, for the most part, students did well in the multiple choice.
Yes.
There were a couple multiple choice that we wanted to go over. The first one is question number 4. Mm-hmm. Who were the first Americans to build permanent homes in Oregon? Why were they there? So the answer is the missionaries. And the reason it's missionaries is because this is Marcus and Narcissa Whitman, right? Okay. And they were there because they were trying to convert the Native Americans to Christianity.
Correct. Yeah.
And so they, so the rest of the story is not relevant. They were murdered, but it's not relevant. The first Americans to build permanent homes, and the reason why it's not mountain men is because they, first of all, they weren't building permanent homes. Second of all, they weren't there to settle down and start families. Traders, we never even learned about traders, and the farmers would come later, right? These are like the families along the Oregon Trail. They would come later. But the first ones were Marcus and Narcissa Whitman, those missionaries. Okay, that's number 4. The next one that students had some difficulty with, number 13. Okay, so Mr. Padilla, number 13, this is the John Gass painting, American Progress.
Yes.
All of the following are in this painting. We spent a great deal of time on this painting.
Yes.
So the choices are, so when you have an all of the following except question.
Yes.
It means 3 of them are correct, 1 of them is not.
Correct, yeah.
So, Mr. Padilla, in this painting, where do we see the importance of education represented?
I believe it would be at the book, and mostly the book that the large woman is carrying. It's kind of representing, as we said, education. And then we're going to be looking for other examples, such as the advances in transportation, which is quite obvious to see. You can see the wagons.
Transportation.
Lots of wagons throughout the painting.
Yep.
And then finally, our last one would be the latest tools used for communication, which would be they look like power lines right there. Yep. That's going to be used for communication throughout, pretty much throughout the whole painting, as you can see.
Yep, those are the telegraph wires.
So that only leaves one other choice.
Yep, and the choice is protection of Native Americans from westward expansion. Were Native Americans being protected at all?
Nope, no protection.
There is no evidence of that in this painting, and then therefore the correct answer is that one right there, protection of Native Americans. Okay, we're now moving on to number 14. Had a lot of students, Mr. Padilla, say, Mr. Ippolito, I didn't like the quotes. I didn't like the quotes. Well, this is why you got to pay attention to quotes.
Yep.
We would esteem a territorial government of our own as one of the richest boons on earth. And while we appreciate the Constitution of the United States as the most precious among the nations, we feel that we had rather retreat to the deserts. So the key here is they retreated to the deserts. So who retreated to the deserts? We're trying to think of who ended up in the deserts. Oregon Trail, do they end in the deserts? No. California Trail, do they end in the deserts? No. Gold Rush? No. California Missions, they were along the coast? No. Who ended up in the deserts? Texas was supposed to be fertile farmland, so it's not the Alamo. Oh, wait, I shouldn't be choosing that. It's not the Alamo. Levi Strauss representing Jewish immigrants? No, he was the jeans guy. John C. Fremont, no, it doesn't have anything to do with California. Keep going. Then consent to be ruled by governors and judges whose hands are drenched in the blood of innocence and virtue, who delighted in justice and oppression. The people who felt like they were being oppressed, right, because of their beliefs, who retreated to the deserts, it was the Mormons. So the correct answer, I'll fill this in. The correct answer, it's not this. Correct answer was the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, represented by Joseph Smith.
Yes.
Okay, and that was in the reading when we did the gallery walk, Gold Rush Missions, Mormons, Women. That was in the Mormons reading.
Yeah, I believe it was the last paragraph in that reading.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on now, Mr. Padilla. The next thing, so let's just go over the answers, the map questions really quickly.
Yes.
First of all, Rio Norte, you should know that it's right here in Southern California.
Yeah.
And that was in the practice. So next time, if you get a practice, do the practice. It pays to do the practice. Where was the gold rush? It was in Northern California, right there. So as long as you put your X somewhere in Northern California, even kids who like put it up here, I gave credit to that. Where did Davy Crockett speak his last words? Where was it?
Talking about the Alamo.
Alamo.
And San Antonio.
So San Antonio's right about here, but really, I mean, if they put it anywhere in Texas, then I gave credit for it. So, but that's where San Antonio is. Now, I did give partial credit because if you confuse it, if you put it right here at the border, right, then I only gave partial credit because you were confusing where American blood was spilled in American soil.
Yep, on the Rio Grande.
Yeah, so as long as you put it anywhere else in Texas, then you were good. The Register of the Desert. A lot of students missed this. I think this was in the practice, right?
And we had discussed it quite a few times to make sure you guys didn't get it wrong on the test.
Yes, so anywhere, if you put it anywhere in Wyoming, then you were good. And we gave partial credit if you were kind of like anywhere along the Oregon Trail or near it, you get partial credit for that. Okay.
Perfect.
Moving on. Using the drawing tool, place a red X on the map where the Oregon Trail started. Where did it start, Mr. Padilla?
Independence, Missouri.
Independence, Missouri. It's right along the Mississippi River, but, I mean, honestly, if you put it anywhere in Missouri, I gave you credit. A lot of students I noticed were, like, putting stuff back here. Back here. There's nothing. There's, I mean, like, we're learning about the frontier, manifest destiny. All the stuff is west of the Mississippi River. So if you're doing stuff like back here, then no. Okay. So it started in Independence, Missouri.
Yes.
Next. Where did Brigham Young lead his followers? Again, this is relating to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons. Where was it, Mr. Padilla?
We're looking at for Utah.
Yep.
Specifically the blue little lake in Utah.
The Valley of the Great Salt Lake, but really, honestly, if you put it anywhere in Utah, would have been fine with that.
Correct, yeah.
And then, if you put it kind of, depending on how far away you put it, you might have gotten some partial credit.
Yes.
But full credit was Utah. Okay. American blood spilled in American soil. Again, I feel like we talked about this very specifically.
We did.
And so the answer, it was probably right around here, right, along the Rio Grande River. But, I gave credit if they just put it anywhere along the Rio Grande River in Texas, because this was the dispute that started the Mexican-American War.
Yes.
Okay. The red line. A lot of students had trouble drawing a red line.
They did, yeah.
So the red line is the 49th parallel. It's right here.
Yeah.
That's the 49th parallel. That's the red line.
A lot of the students had put it around, just above California, around the Oregon territory.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why exactly, because we know that Oregon, Washington, and Idaho are a part of the United States now. So
yes. So this is the boundary between Canada and the United States. Partial credit. What'd you give partial credit for?
I'm trying to remember. I think it was a lot of the students liked to highlight over where the British Session line is.
Okay, so partial credit for here.
Yeah, it's in the general area. So but for the most part, it was either that or they got the full line.
Full credit if you actually got it on the line. Okay, very good. Moving on. Where were the Mountain Men? Mr. Padilla, where were the Mountain Men?
Anywhere, honestly, anywhere in Oregon Territory.
Oregon Territory. So you could put them here, here. Why are you putting Mountain Men in Indiana or California or had some Mountain Men in Mexico? No Mountain Men in Mexico. Oregon Territory. We learned about that. I think that was in the reading.
Yeah.
Okay. Plugging away here. The path of the missions. Mr. Padilla, where were the missions?
We're looking for basically the coast of California, starting around the end of California, around San Diego, all the way up towards the middle of California. This was in your, also in the gallery walk, in the missions reading, it talks about the mission starting on the coast and then following up throughout California.
And I gave partial credit if they put it just somewhere in California.
Yeah, this one was definitely one where probably the most variance. The line was kind of everywhere. I gave pretty much partial credit if you were just somewhere in California, but a lot of lines in Mexico, a lot of lines in just Texas, a lot of lines everywhere, honestly.
Yeah. So this is the California missions.
Yes.
Okay. Now this is the free response section. So push-pull factors. Mr. Padilla, I would love for you to jump in if you want to share something. First of all, full credit. You got full credit if you had to define push-pull factors. What
Yes.
are push-pull factors? So you had to start with the definition.
Yep.
And then I was looking for any two groups. You had to talk about, some students just talked about the Mormons, or just the 49ers, or just the Texians. If you just chose one group, you did not get full credit. Anything to add on this?
No, I think you covered most bases. I think where a lot of students lost points is that they either didn't define push-pull factors, they went straight into the groups, or they did define it, but they only had one group of people.
Yeah. So this is a lesson. Hi, I'm going to teach you this here. This is the lesson. Read the entire prompt. Respond to the entire prompt.
Yep.
This is going to be a lesson that's going to help you in high school and beyond. You have to respond to the entire prompt.
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Padilla, this is what I was looking for. I was looking for something, this question required you to do a little deeper thinking.
Yes.
Why were women out in the West getting rights faster? You got full credit from me if you said something about they were doing equal work to men.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
They were working just as hard, if not harder, because not only did they have to chop wood and, fight bears and kill rattlesnakes and do all this other stuff, but they also had to take care of children and, clean the home, and they were doing so much more work in the West than they were in the East.
Yes.
What else?
For the most part, I was looking for the same thing, and I think the majority of the students did get this question right. If you were somewhere in the ballpark and you talked about, them doing the same work or them doing more work, something along those lines, I gave you full credit. If it was something else, then likely maybe half credit if it was justified. Sometimes if you can justify the reason, then I will give you some credit. But we're looking for doing as much or more work.
Yes. Very good. Okay, Mr. Padilla, I'm doing a lot of talking. You want to respond to how did you get full credit on the role of religion in the 1800s? What did you give full credit for?
Yeah, so a lot of you guys did well on this question. The only problem I had with maybe some of the responses was the give specific examples. A lot of the students, once again, harboring back to the reading directions, a lot of you guys had great reasons as to why religion played a role, but then there was no specific example provided. Now, we talked about a few examples of religion playing a role in westward expansion. You could have talked about the Mormons. You could have talked about the missions, anything like that. But most students, I would say, lost some points because they gave a great reason but didn't provide any examples.
Yeah. Okay. Good. You could have mentioned another thing I gave credit for is if they gave the Christian missionaries in Oregon, like Marcus and Narcissa Whitman.
Correct.
I also gave credit if they were able to give a really good explanation about manifest destiny, like we were destined by God to go out into the West. I gave it for that too.
Yeah, like pointing to the painting even.
Yeah. All right. And we have a math teacher who's decided to put some math on here. So we're going to go ahead and, I don't know what you call a bunny with sniffles, but I'm going to go ahead and just move on to the next one. Hopefully this math teacher will figure out the error of their ways. That's kind of hilarious. Okay. Based on what we've learned in this unit, why did the United States go to war with Mexico? They figured it out. Good for them. So I gave full credit if you said slavery.
Yes.
Slavery, slavery, slavery. You could not get full credit if you didn't mention slavery because James Russell Lowell, the dude wrote the poem, The Mexican War is on behalf of slavery. And then we also talked about the American blood being spilled on American soil, and this goes to the primary sources, Mexican War primary sources. You had to have understood the Mexican War primary sources document.
Yep. And I think, that's where most students lost a point or two, not mentioning the slavery aspect. Pointing back to Lowell and Lincoln, definitely opposed slavery. I did give you full credit if you were able to maybe we provided a different reason, such as gaining territory, but then briefly mentioning slavery, then I still did give you full credit. So,
okay. And then the rest are feedback questions. So, Mr. Padilla, that's the explanation. Just one final thing I'll mention. I always want students to feel as though their grade is fair, right? So if they thought that my grade that I gave, I'm going to have my hand in the camera here. If you thought that the grade that I gave was unfair, or if you thought the grade that you gave, that Mr. Padilla gave you was unfair, then you let us know, and the other teacher will regrade it. But you have to be prepared for the possibility that whatever new grade you get, that's going to be your grade. So if you can't be like, wait, no, wait, no, I'll go back to the first grade. If you make a teacher take the time to reevaluate your test, then you have to accept the results of the appeal, right? So just be prepared for that. And of course, if you want to get a better grade, if you got a C- or below, if you got below a B-, if you got a C or below, then you should be doing this retake. All right, that's it. Mr. Padilla, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
And thanks for watching. Bye.